Boruto episode 23, Bonds Come in All Shapes. Definitely a great episode. Of course, this is the conclusion to Sarada's story arc from the manga years back. Figured it would be, like I mentioned at the end of my last review, I knew that this had to have been the last episode because it pretty much goes into just fighting. Like, there's a little bit of dialogue in the beginning, and of course there's some dialogue kind of sprinkled throughout, but naturally, it's some fighting, and it's just like, here's some cool stuff here, here's some cool stuff there. It's shorter than I remember because, of course, this is me reading it from a manga, so it's like you look at the pictures and you're analyzing everything, so it lasts a bit longer compared to, here's the beginning of this motion to the end of this motion, and it's like, 3 seconds and it's done. So it's like, oh, it felt a lot faster than what I remembered when I read the manga. But still a great fight. I thought it was really cool. We got to see some cool stuff. Of course, the beginning was the best part as far as the action is concerned. Sakura has had, 4 parts literally in all of Naruto / Boruto to ever be, a cool fighter. It was, her versus Ino in the very beginning. Because even before that, even though they were going through the Death Forest and everything during the Chunin exams, she did, nothing as far as, epic stuff. It was all Sasuke and Naruto. So she got her fight with Ino, which was pretty cool. She got nothing else for the rest of that series. So then Shippuden came along, and it was her and Granny Chiyo versus Sasori, which is still one of my favorite fights in all of Naruto. And then she got the end of Naruto Shippuden, and those have been, her 3 moments. I'm sure she's had some stuff that I just can't remember as far as fillers that have been kind of cool, but she never has super epic moments. So I was like, cool. I know, Sakura in general, at least in the States, she's not exactly liked in any regard, but I was happy to see that because I'm I really, personally speaking, I like Sakura, even though she never really gets anything. Once it came to Shippuden and she had the strength and all that stuff, it was she's got something now. She has a specific thing, because even in the video games, I'll tell you this, for people that don't remember or who never had the old, the original Ultimate Ninja games, she had nothing. Her special isn't even something she's ever done in this series. It's something that her and I did. It was the this is super old, but it's the Genjutsu tree thing. Sakura never did that. That was the Kurenai's move, but they gave that move to Sakura in the video games because she had nothing. It was that, and then her inner Sakura thing was one of her specials, which they got rid of that a long time ago. Once as things got more serious, they kind of got rid of that part of her character. So it was well, that's gone. So she, pretty much all of her time in the video games has been other people's moves until Shippuden came along, and it's nope, her thing is super duper strength. Her and Tsunade are the super, super strength characters. So I was happy to see that, where she's just fighting against Shin, and it was it was my favorite type of thing, where it just gets super crazy and the art gets super loose and stuff, and they're fighting and kunai are flipping and spinning. When they first start, they're almost boxing a little bit, which I thought looked really cool. And then it gets, it's range battle where he's controlling all the little blades and stuff and turning them into a giant shuriken flying no matter. And she's launching, jumping between these pillars, and he cuts one and she grabs it and in mid-air just launches it at him with their strength. And I was this is super awesome. This is the stuff I want to see from Sakura way more often, but we just never really get to see that stuff. So love that opening sequence. And her in the beginning in general, where she's and I love the line that she gave where he's this is my dream, and she's oh, so it's just your dream. And he's yeah, what do you mean? He's well, you don't have any friends, so I can just haul off and I'm gonna win. And that's pretty much what she was thinking. That's pretty much what I got from that scene when she said it. Was you don't have anybody to help you, I'm just gonna beat you to death. That was how she felt. And then she sets it off, and that's pretty much what happened. Outside of the fact that he was able to survive the paper bomb, and he sends all the blades at her, and he gets her in the arm. Other than that, she was kind of destroying him a little bit. He wasn't really getting they were doing little hits, but she was getting the big stuff in, and then he just happened to get her as she was falling, because she was of course in mid-air. She can't really do much. So that was pretty much about it. That's how he got her when she hit the water, and she had the 2 blades in her arm, and he was able to vibrate them and stuff. But still, even then, that was a cool little sequence where she's flying across the water. It made me think of Naruto versus Sasuke in the original Naruto, where they're shooting across the water and they aren't actually walking, which we rarely ever see that. There's no real explanation. They just kind of move. I guess you can say they just use the chakras boosts, I guess. There's no real explanation. But yeah, she's kind of just skating along the water and dodging all the blades until he vibrates the ones in her arm and it takes her down. But cool fight sequence for sure. Of course, everyone shows up to the camp after that, and it's fairly decent. It's pretty simple after that. It's mostly Naruto being super nice, whereas he knows that they aren't just shadow clones or anything of one specific kid. They're actual clones, And it's like, well, they call them father, so that means that, you know, they're real and we can't hurt them because they're kids and stuff. So he's being, you know, super cool about it, and he's protecting Chocho, and he, you know, makes the clones, goes into cloak mode with one of the clones. And Sasuke is not like that. They have their moment where, you know, Sakura is there. Of course, you know, she's wounded, and then Sarada and Sasuke come in, and it's like, all right, well, you know, Sasuke don't give a crap. He's like, you know, he was in there, he was doing like his Anakin Skywalker thing, where it's like, I don't care about kids, I kill younglings, and he was about to, you know, chop Shin's head off. And just as Sarada was about to stop him, he gets impaled because original Shin stabs through his clone and then hits Sasuke, which should have been like straight in the heart. He should just, boom, he should be dead, of course. It's Sasuke, so he's immortal. But he goes down, and then it's like, okay, well, we gotta set something up. Sasuke's injured, Sakura's injured, Sarada is still a kid, so we gotta figure this out and protect our daughter. And they do a really cool move where Shin is kind of cocky, where it's like, okay, well, Sasuke's injured. There's nothing that Sakura can do because she's injured, and she's also at a distance. I get her before she got me if she tried to, you know, run at me. So he sends the blades after Sakura, and she takes off. And he's like, you know, he even knows, like, there's no point in switching places because I'll just impale you all as a family or something, which I thought was an interesting line. And then they switch. And so Sasuke, of course, switches with Sakura, and she runs right at him and hits him straight in the face. And once again, it's like, this is the type of stuff that Sakura should be used for during fights, because she is, if she gets up close, she's devastating, and she hits him straight in the face. And then that was pretty much it. Like, he was kind of down for at least for a minute after that. But then she like straight up passed out, and I was like, I don't really understand why she passed out. Like, she didn't really take that much damage to me to like straight up just pass out after she finally got him with that hit. But I don't know, like, she passed. I just thought it was weird. I was like, I guess that's the way to do it, where she passed out. But yeah, so she's passed out, and then it's like, okay, well, I'll bring in my clones, and then they'll take care of all you guys at once. And then, of course, they end up betraying him. It's almost like an AI sort of deal. And so he feels betrayed, and it's like, you know, I'm going to get out of here. But then Sarada is the one to save Sakura when she's about to get teleported out again. So she throws the shuriken at, like, the little tiny itty-bitty Shin thingy. And so saves Sakura. Activates her Sharingan as like the giant blades are coming up at her. She's dodging them, and then so she implements both her father's skills in the Sharingan and her mother's strength in just having insane super strength. And she slams down on this tiny little thing. It was so funny because it was like, it wasn't like it was one of the big enemies or anything. It was literally the smallest enemy, and she went like full force Sharingan, super strength, and everything, and just crushed this tiny little thing. And I almost felt a little bad because I was like, wow, she probably could have killed Shin with that punch, in all honesty, but she used on this itty-bitty little thing, and I was like, man, for some reason I feel bad for that little thing. But she completely destroys it, like cracks the ground and everything. Very cool, you know, the implementation of both these characters and like their greatest strengths coming together in their daughter. It was very cool to see. So that was awesome. I definitely loved that. And of course, everything's all said and done. The Shin clones want to keep fighting. We find out, you know, with their rebellion, they made a bunch of other clones. Not all of them came out perfect, so we have like chubby ones, we have like a super giant one, there's like the one that looks like a really malnourished person. So all that gets stopped because Naruto is like, alright, well, I don't want to kill all these kids because they're actual kids, they aren't just clones of one kid. So he grabs the blade as he's about to get stabbed, and he has Kurama kind of show up a little, and it's like, you want to keep this going, huh? And Kurama shows up, and it's like he's trying to calm him down. It's like, calm down, Kurama. And he shot, you know, like he squeezes the blade, and the kid like crapped his pants, and it was like, okay. And he kind of almost like, it was like a hive mind sort of thing. They all got that fear. It was like, okay, I guess we're all done. So, you know, he will destroy us all with this insane monster inside of him. So, you know, Naruto shut all that crap down just through sheer, you know, fear, which I thought was pretty cool. And then they take all the kids and they send them to Kabuto, which was awesome. I was looking forward to seeing him because, of course, that was like one of the few things I did remember from the manga, because that was the first time we ever got to see him when this story arc first came out in manga form. It was like, hey, that's what Kabuto is doing in the future. He's taken over like the old home that he used to live at as a kid. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So we get to see him, and of course he's still got the snake face and all that stuff going. So it's like, that's cool to actually see that animated, even though technically he wasn't really moving. It was just to see it in full color. So that was cool, just that, you know, a little glimpse of him. Of course, we get to the end, everyone goes back to the village. Chocho brings up again the fact that their whole journey was meant to be her looking for her dad. She sees Chocho for the first time super skinny and is like, holy crap, you know, who's this really cool looking guy and everything. And of course he's just like, oh, hey, what's up? And he you know, puts his hand on her head, and she's like, what's happening right now? Because, you know, it's like, this is the first time she's seen you like this. And she's just like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? I was like, holy crap, this is Choji, this is my father. So that was a really funny little moment where she realized that, of course, the cool person the whole time was naturally her actual father, which was like confusing everyone. She just thought she was looking for a dad because, of course, he was gone because he was on a mission. So, you know, all that stuff comes full circle. And it was pretty cool. It was a very good episode. We had another different ending. This is like the fourth ending I think we've technically had. We had the original ending, the second ending, then they had the special ending after they beat Sumidi. The end of the first arc, they had a special ending. And then this episode had a special ending as well, with Sarada just walking along the screen until she gets to Sasuke and Sakura. And then she holds their hands, and then at the end she turns around and smiles, which I thought was a really nice ending, where it's like, that's the culmination of the whole story. Was the ending was always her going towards this goal of figuring out who, you know, where does she belong and who does she belong to, like who is really her family. So I thought that was pretty awesome. I like the way they did that. And of course they do the reveal, which I didn't want to spoil, even though it's super old. Of course, Sakura is actually Sarada's mother. It was just that Kanin had the umbilical cord because she was the one that delivered the baby, and that was pretty much all there was to it. It was like a memento of that situation. And they have a cool moment where Sugetsu is like, so, you know, with the way that you are kind of cool about things, does that mean you like completely gave up on Sasuke? And she doesn't exactly say no, and she just kind of looks away. So I thought that was an interesting little moment. And I love the scene when they first show up to the village, and Ino sees Sasuke, and she's super happy. It's like, hey, it's been a long time. And Sarada kind of slides in like, hold the F up. And I just thought that was a cool, you know, it was a funny little moment. It's like, I'm already dealing with some weird stuff here because my mom isn't really my mom and stuff like that. I don't need my dad stepping out again. It was almost like exactly what she was doing in that one little moment. Like, I don't need him stepping out again or having some other random kids. No, everybody back off. So I like that little moment. It's pretty funny. But definitely a great episode. We are officially going into, you know, we're super close getting to the Boruto movie stuff. We have, you know, like the little extra scene at the end of this episode that shows Sada and Boruto in class, and he says, you know, thanks for, you know, getting my dad the lunch and everything. And she's like, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to figure out what, you know, my goal. It helped me figure out my goal in life, which is to become Hokage, which I thought was pretty cool. I was like, that's a cool way to do that, because I don't remember if that's specifically what they did. I don't think they did that in the manga, because it was just like, here's just the story of the kids, and it was just like, poof, Sarada's first, and then, you know, it led to the movie. And in the movie, she talked about that all the time, like, I want to be Hokage and stuff like that. And that was kind of the big contention between them, where Boruto, of course, kind of hates his dad, who is now the Hokage, and that's why he has that big issue with him. So that was kind of just a part of her thing, where it's like, she just was the studious character who wanted to become Hokage. So it was cool that they kind of blended that together, where it was like, her story arc now is what made her want to be Hokage. It's not like she just wanted it, because it was that journey that kind of helped her. It was like, you know, that was a small little thing, and it helped me realize so much about my life that I want to be able to do, you know, something much more grand. That was like, you know, literally, it was the random happenstance of taking a lunch to a guy, and then that led on this great journey for her character. And she wants to help people kind of go on that journey themselves as Hokage for the entire village. So I was like, that's cool that they blend that together, and, you know, now that part of her character has officially been realized. It's like, that's my new goal. So the next episode is going to be Sada and Boruto teaming up. I'm looking forward to that. You know, it's not what I thought it was going to be, because I thought it was going straight into the Boruto movie stuff, because Boruto was like painting on the Hokage faces. That's literally how like the movie starts, if I remember right. Which we've seen him do that a couple times already, but I think that, you know, obviously the parallels, even though they're so different, that's supposed to be the point of Boruto. But yeah, I thought that's what we were getting. I was like, oh, we're officially moving into it, but probably going to get a couple episodes. Hopefully it's just this one, but at the same time, we technically don't have the team, so we're going to get a couple more episodes before we do officially get into the Boruto movie storyline. But I am looking forward to it. I'm hoping it doesn't take too long, mostly because it's like, alright, everything they're doing now, outside of what just happened with Sada's story arc, and the stuff that we got with, of course, the first story arc with Sumidi, and, you know, like this mysterious chakra ghost and all this extra stuff, outside of that, it's been super low stakes. And, you know, if you've seen the first episode, you've read the manga, I would assume I still haven't caught up on the manga. I really need to do that, but I know it's monthly, so I'm always just like, and I'm still in the Boruto stuff, so it's just like, there's nothing driving me to read it, even though I want to read it so bad. And I'm not going to skip it because I'm reviewing everything, and it's just like, I just never end up reading it. But the stakes are supposed to be there at some point when the kids are much older and everything. So I don't know when this time skip is supposed to happen either. I don't know if it's officially happened in the manga yet or anything like that, but everything's fairly low stakes. Like, we know nothing is really going to happen. This will be cool to see. Just like, you know, with the stuff with Shin, it was cool. Like, I knew pretty much exactly what was going to happen. I knew no one was going to die. The Sumidi stuff is like, alright, maybe they get rid of certain characters because Iwabe and Denki, we don't really see them. The eye power stuff, they've already dealt with that, where like it goes away and it'll come back later. So they've dealt with certain elements, but for the most part, everything's just been like, yeah, this is happening and that's happening. Some cool stuff happens here, maybe some cool stuff happens there, but nothing has really been like, you know, high stakes until like just now. Like the Sumidi thing happened and it was like at the end it felt very high stakes, like the bomb will blow up the city, all that extra stuff. But we kind of knew what was going to happen, especially with this still leading to the Boruto movie stuff. Everything I know is going to be like, alright, this is going to happen right here. This isn't going to be like, this happens here and it expands to all of this stuff. It's like, no, it'll happen right here. It'll be dealt with. Maybe it'll come back, just like Boruto's power, but it will not have an impact. Like, nothing right now is going to have an impact on the series, like a character leaving the village, or like, you know, the Akatsuki being announced in Naruto, or Orochimaru attacking the village. None of that stuff has happened yet. It feels like it because you have stuff where it's like Sumidi with this giant creature, and, you know, Sada's arc, I'm sure they'll eventually kind of roll Shin back into the story, but even that probably won't happen for a super long time because I doubt they've done that in the manga yet either. So everything they've done has been very tight-knit. Like, this is this arc, and that's it. It's a lot like filler stuff, even though it's not filler. That's a lot like what the stakes are right now. Everything's happening that's cool, but it's all just like, it's right here. There aren't any overarching things really happening just yet. So I'm excited for them to get to the Boruto stuff, because then after that, it's like, that's where it has to really matter. It's like everything that happens after the Boruto arc has to be like, from here to the end of Boruto's story, whatever it's going to be, all this stuff matters now. That's what it has to be, outside of, obviously, the fillers themselves. That's what we're going to need. But until that happens, until we get through the Boruto stuff, everything I see, I'm just like, this won't have an impact later. Maybe it will, because we do have, like I said, Iwabe and Denki. Maybe they'll do something with them and do, you know, they've already done a little bit of retconning stuff, you know, here and there. But maybe they'll do that, maybe they won't. So far, they haven't really done anything that seems like it's going to have, like, overarching stuff. Maybe they will with Sumidi, with the power that she has and, you know, stuff like that. They'll try to roll that into some of the existing stories. But for now, everything's kind of been pseudo high stakes. You know, we know it's going to be contained to this arc because we already have a definitive arc that's been created by the movie. So everything, you know, pre-Boruto the movie is just like, it's done, and that's it. So it can't really come back until much later. Like, the eye ability that can happen, maybe they will do the Sumidi thing, the Shin stuff. They definitely have things that could happen, but for now, everything is just like set and done in this one particular space and time. And then it's just like, next thing, and then that next thing is done as well. But I am looking forward to everything we're getting. I really enjoyed this arc. It was really great in the manga, and I was happy to see it done. Yeah, I mean, all I have to do is follow this freaking story. It's not that difficult, but it looked awesome. I love the animation. Like I said, the fight for this episode is really cool. I am looking forward to where we're headed. I do hope it doesn't take forever, because like I said, that is like my main issue right now, is just knowing, and I've had this, one of the biggest issues is the stuff with Boruto and Naruto, where I know nothing can be resolved between the two of them until the Boruto movie happens. And that's one of the biggest issues when things happen, and I'm like, they totally could have solved their hatred, or, you know, Boruto could have solved the issues that he has with his father right here, but they know they can't write that because then it would ruin the entire story arc of the whole film. Like, that's the point of that. So there's a lot of stuff that they, like, can't do, and they have to limit themselves on where things happen. So I'm hoping we just get to that soon. We have to get the teams together. We have to get, you know, Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki, you know, our other teams and all that stuff. So looking forward to that happening very soon, much sooner rather than later. I would hope, my hope would definitely be that within the month, we'll be at least by the end of this month, we'll be, you know, starting the Boruto movie arc. That's my hope. Like, the next 3 episodes, maybe, you know, Boruto started in the next episode, the one after that, choosing the 3-man squads, then the one after that is like the official start of the Boruto, you know, movie arc. That's my hope for it. Sorry I rambled about my complaints for how they've been, you know, just how everything is going to be until we finish that story arc, but just wanted to put that out there, because pretty much it's, you know, this whole story actually has been following the manga, so it's like I've just been waiting for it to end, even though I've loved it. I really love this story. I actually really like seeing it animated as well. But of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And I definitely want to know, for the manga readers, would love to know how you guys feel about the reveal that Sakura really is Sadara's mother. I didn't want to spoil that, even though someone technically did in the comments, I think in my last review, but nobody watches these anyway. But I would love to know what you guys thought about that. And I do want to know what you guys think, especially if you are a manga reader or if you've just seen the movie like I have at least. What do you think about how they're doing things so far? Because that has been the main issue for me. It's just like, until we get past the movie arc, I know everything is just going to be in this one place in time, and it will not have like a grasp on like the overarching story. So that's why I'm just like, I don't want to see more fillers. I just want them to do the Boruto stuff and get past it. Just like when I was reading the manga, that's exactly why I stopped, because I was like, I wasn't invested, even though I wanted to read it just to see the changes. I wasn't that invested in going through the manga because it starts with the Boruto movie, and it's like, for what? I saw this already. Sure, some people haven't, and some people were definitely surprised because you can read comments on the website I go on. But yeah, for me, it's just like, I've been there, done that. So that's just how I feel. Like I said, the more fillers we get, the more time consuming it is, it feels, compared to just like, oh, I can't wait for the next thing. I just know the next thing is just going to be done, and then the next arc is going to start. So that's just how I feel. But we'd love to know how you guys feel about, you know, where things are headed for the arcs and stuff like that, and how they're being contained so far, and how they might come back in the future, and some things have to, like Boruto's eye power. But of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode as well, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.